I'm Erin Bennett from St Mary's, Limavady.
Erin, this particular project of yours has a lot of relevance for myself because I have a 7-year-old at home who suffers from asthma. And one of the things that we're always having conflicts about is how he takes his inhaler, how he uses it. Tell us about your project.
It's all to do with the breathing methods of an asthmatic, and the breathing methods are the most important because if an asthmatic does not have the correct breathing method, they can waste up to 90% of the medicine in their inhaler. So £4 billion a year the NHS spends on medication for inhalers. So if a lot of people are taking their inhaler wrong, it's a lot of waste of money and medicine as well.
How did the idea for the project come about? Do you have asthma yourself, a family member? Or?
A family member. My younger cousin has asthma, but he also has celiac disease. So he has to be watched very carefully to make sure he's absorbed the right amount of medicine for his asthma. But also, if he doesn't take it correctly, then it affects his celiac disease. So he can get very pains and very sick from it as well.
So tell us exactly what you did in terms of your research.
First of all, I researched what sound patterns and stuff I should expect, and I did kind of like a pilot scheme with my younger cousin to measure what kind of graphs were given out. But the microphone I was using wasn't sufficient enough, so I had to drill a hole in like an aero chamber, and then I fitted a small microphone in that, and I tested 3% of my skull that have asthma. I tested all of them with the aero chamber on how they take their medicine, and it was all to do with breathing methods and breathing patterns. So there was a lot of different breathing patterns in it. A lot of people took very short, sharp breaths, and a lot of people just inhaled in one.
So based on your findings, what's the best? So when I go home and I talk to my little man about, because he used to use the chamber here and now he's using it just with the inhaler right to his mouth, what's the best, based on your findings, what's the best way to take and use the inhaler?
The best way I've worked out to take your inhaler is by the aero chamber. The aero chamber gives you more time to absorb your medicine, although there is a tiny bit of residue on the sides of the chamber. But if you take your inhaler just by itself, then it's just, if you miss it by one go, then that's it all gone. And you can also waste a lot of the moist of the medicine on your tongue can be absorbed. So if you take it by the aero chamber, it is a lot easier and more efficient.
Well, Erin, hopefully this isn't the last that we'll see of your findings. How are you going to take this forward, get it out into the public arena, if you like?
I'm hoping to talk to my GP soon about it, and I would like to be in more contact with the Asthma Society, as this programme would save a lot of time, money, and it would also be great for first-time GPs that are starting out in office, because a GP now only examines the patient by their experience. So if you can imagine a newly qualified doctor going into a surgery covering for another doctor and they don't know the patient, they don't know their background history, so it's harder for them to evaluate on the actual asthmatic, whereas they're given a graph with clear ranges where they have to be. They're able to judge it better with the asthmatic.
So it's that old saying, prevention's better than cure, I suppose?
Yes.
And tell us then, what challenges have you faced along the way? What have you picked up? What have you learnt about yourself, and what skills have you developed?
I've definitely learned a lot more about patience than I thought I ever had. Time management is a big one as well. This project has been ongoing since June, and I had to have a 6-week research period of collecting all of my data. So after that was done, I had to figure out, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do with my data? How am I going to achieve my goal that I want at the end? So I finished up in early December. It was very time consuming, but I learned a lot more patience, and I learned a lot more about asthmatics than I originally had. So I have a great deal more respect for how they manage their daily lives, how they go through the day.
Well, Erin, I'll be able to go back home and tell my little man that there's research out there that shows that he's doing it correctly. So thank you very much for your time, and we wish you all the best with the project.
Thank you very much.